So I'm sorry about the sound. I know it's bad, but as said, I have to use my cell phone video camera because my laptop camera is messing up. I'm gonna try to fix it though, so we'll see how this goes. This week's theme is the Battle of Hogwarts, but last week's theme was my HP history, and I didn't do that because I joined on Sunday, and my days are Thursdays. So I'm gonna do that first, and I'm gonna do a short one for this week in the same video, because I'll get to it. So my HP history is a lot like a lot of others. I started. I'm 18, so it's been my childhood. A lot of it has been my childhood. Of course, there has been a lot of other things in my childhood, but this was a lot of my childhood. Harry Potter, it's Harry Potter, you know? It's this big phenomenon that it's movies and there's books and there's just so much around it. And I love it to pieces. It started how old was I? I don't remember how old I was, but I wasn't that old. I was older than a lot of other people in this group, though. So, I was when the first book came out. My mother started reading it to me, and it sort of became this tradition that she read them to me. Also, I was a slow reader, so. And she read them to me in Norwegian. I was a slow reader, so I didn't really learn to read properly before I was pretty old. But when I first started actually really reading, I got into it and I became a bookworm. So it sort of became this tradition that my mother read me the books. But then around the fifth book, when the fifth book came out, we were about halfway, not even halfway into the book, and it had gone so slowly through the book. And I was, of course, this was after I became a bookworm, but it was a tradition, so it was just something we did together, you know? She read me the books. But I got so irritated because it went so slowly through the book. There was these huge breaks between each time she read for me. So one day I just said enough is enough, and I just took the book and I started over and read through the whole thing myself. And after that I read all the books by myself, and after that again, of course, I've read them in both Norwegian and English by myself. Or actually, I haven't read the first books in Norwegian by myself. I haven't, because I just went directly up to English when I was going through all of them. And then when the movies, I remember, I can barely remember the first one, but I remember when the second one came out, and I remember this scene in my grandmother's living room, where I almost wasn't allowed to go to the movie because apparently it was so much scarier than the first one, and I got so sad. I remember I was so sad, and everything was just bad because it was sad. I wanted to see the movie in the theater. I didn't want to wait 2 years before I was allowed to see it, and I just wanted to see it. And I didn't get into the fandom before I joined. Or I was into the fandom before I joined Tumblr, actually, but I haven't been that much in the fandom as a lot of other people have. I haven't been to conventions and stuff, but that is also a lot because I live in Norway. So it's kind of hard to get to them, and there's not that many good ones in Norway that I have heard of, anyway, because I'm in the fandom with Americans and such. So, but it's become such a big part of me. And also, I'm kind of running on, like, I'm in 5 minutes now. I'm sorry. And yeah, it's become such a big part of me. But there's so, like, from the first time around, there's so much I don't remember, because once I was pretty small, and it just slips out again. Of course, I remember most of, like, the whole story happening, but I a lot of it, also with the Battle of Hogwarts, I don't remember reading it for the first time like a lot of you guys probably do. But I do remember the last book was a fantastic book. I remember it being just amazing and sad and heartbreaking, but like exciting. And I remember sitting up on the couch in this house actually reading it. We were pretty newly, like, we had just moved into this house, and I was sitting up on the couch and I was just reading it in the sunlight, and my mother kept telling me to put the book down. But I'm bad at remembering, like, exact chapters and how I felt at those exact moments. So, but again, it's such a big part of me, and these two teams just floated a bit into each other here. So I'm just gonna let it be like that. But yeah, I don't exactly know how to tell you my thoughts on how it was when I was reading the final battle, because I don't exactly remember what I was thinking at that exact time. I just remember thinking, like, feeling like through the whole book that this was an amazing book. And this is getting, like, very long right now. My other videos is hopefully gonna get shorter. So I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm sorry for the short answer. Yeah. Bye.